Morning YouTube, Steven here. Coming to you today from home. I thought I would tie up, or I think it was 3 videos I've already shot, and I'll be uploading here in a little bit. But yeah, trip's over. We're back home. A little housekeeping normally. This is it says Medley, London, England. It's got a number on it, 296, I think. I thought it was a Savinelli. It's kind of a lumberman shape, I suppose, and got some Northwoods in it, which I might talk about here in a little bit at the back of this video. So anyway, yeah, Louise and I got home Friday night. We Friday morning got up, and we were staying at a campground. We decided we were going to go, of course, to the Oz Museum in Kansas. And we got there and looked at the map and said, you know what, we can make it all the way home. So we left the Oz Museum. I can't remember now the name of the little tiny town, but left that, went to Missouri, just north of Kansas City, to the Stroud's restaurant, which is fantastic if you ever get around North Kansas City. We ate way too much, brought a ton home, but that was kind of it, that we decided to head on home. So we got home the evening Friday, and 3,950 miles, I think, 3,950, something like that. Big trip for an old fella doing all the driving. But Louise is a great navigator, and van held up real well, and we did great. So we had some bumps and bruises. You know, the third night out, something Louisa ate. Either, she had some tinned mackerel and some, heat up rice with a little drop of wine. And a couple hours into the tent, and she got sick and had to vomit outside the tent a couple of times, which is no fun with campers around. And then a little while later, decided we better get to the outhouse and the other direction, and she just, I don't know, food poisoning is all we can figure out. But by morning, she's a trooper. She was fresh as a daisy, ready to roll, and something just didn't sit right and made her sick. So then a few days later in the morning, we're walking back from the restrooms at one of the places we had stayed, and I had a headlamp on but turned off because I didn't want to disturb anybody. It was still dark early in the morning, and I decided to walk into a tree and knock a hole into my head. Pardon me if I keep looking up. My little nuthatch friends are just going crazy on my bird feeder here, chasing away the sparrows. It's kind of fun to watch. But anyway, yeah, I walked into a low-hanging tree limb. It had these jaggedy spikes sticking out, and I decided to poke a hole in my head. And of course, my 20-year-old or maybe 30-year-old first aid kit that I didn't check over before we left sort of did the job. We got the blood stopped, got a patch on it, and that was the day we were heading to Zion, so we had a full day. And I just kept my hat on, and it's healing, or almost healed. So that was a little bump. And then one evening we got to camp, sitting there making our dinner, rushing because a storm was coming in, and we actually slept in the van that night. But we looked, and we had a flat tire. So I'm in need of tires. I probably should have replaced them before we left, but waited till morning, and we got a little onboard compressor, aired it up, put some fixed flat in, and made it to Winslow, Arizona. Got it fixed. Went down to the famous corner, standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona. It was pretty cool. Something popped up on YouTube when we were looking at our travels, and Winslow's taken on just that one line of the Eagles song. They've got a flatbed Ford sitting there. They've got the flatbed Ford cafe. They've got bronze statues of some of the Eagles, and I mean, just a ton of fun. Just a real photo op kind of a place. Of course, they have a gift shop like everybody out there does, but yeah, a lot of fun. So we left there and went on into New Mexico and then into Kansas. But yeah, it's Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, back to Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, back to Iowa. So a lot of new states for me, almost all new states for Louisa. And the only one we didn't go, I'd mentioned in one of my first videos, we were going to go to Taos, New Mexico, but we kind of changed our plans and went a different route. And that was just going to be a stopover, nothing really to see other than it's kind of a cool town from what I understand. But yeah, we headed up to Colorado Springs instead, and we actually got a motel that night. Stayed in a very, very fancy Super 8 motel, which was fine. It suited our needs. But then we went up to Pikes Peak. And it's been a long time. My boys were quite young when we went up Pikes Peak. And I remember my youngest son, we were there for a hockey tournament. And my youngest son got some altitude sickness. And he, playing at his level, he couldn't play very well. He ended up breaking his stick on purpose. His mom made him sign a contract to never do that again, or we'd buy him a new stick. And he got through his tournament, and then he played. By the time the next section of the tournament, his older brother, he plays up because he was a really, really good player. He played on his brother's team and dominated. I think they won the tournament, as I recall. But so yeah, anyway, they were 8 or 9 years old when last time I went up that little hill. And yeah, I was telling Louisa, I'm surprised they don't check your vehicle or check your health. I was having some problems up there. I couldn't breathe, of course, 14,100 and some feet, and having some dizzy spells, and it got real cold, and the clouds came in, which was beautiful. But yeah, it's a whole different thing up there. And then once you start coming down, it's easy. Once you come down a few hundred feet, and the dizziness goes away. But very few guardrails, and you look down. You try not to look down over the edge, and it's kind of scary. But going up's a little scary for me because the van, it's a 2016, but it's got some miles on it, and you're on just gassing it all the way up there. The incline is so steep. But coming down, you just go a little bit, check your brakes, pull off, cool things off. And it was a fantastic view. I mean, just beautiful, but harder than I remember. I think, like I said, I'm a little older now, but left there and went to Manitou Springs by Colorado Springs and saw the Manitou Springs cliff dwellings, which is just really a cool museum. Like 700 years ago, the way the native folks were living there, and just unbelievable. The museum was just beautiful, very well done. So I'd highly recommend that. But yeah, Arches, Zion, North Rim of the Grand Canyon, of course Las Vegas with my boy. Oh, my son knows how to eat. He knows the restaurants. We went to a place, something grill, I can't recall the name. It's, of course, in one of the casinos. Can't remember the casino's name. Anyway, it kind of had a Spanish theme, I guess, but it was a buffet of small plates. So they had probably 20 items for $45 a head, because it's Las Vegas. You can order as many plates of whatever as you want, and they just keep coming. They had like a rendition of steak and eggs, biscuits and gravy, all different things. And I think my son started off with 2 or 3 plates of steak and eggs, and Louise and I did too. But you could order 2 or 3 or 4 plates at a time. They were about the size of a saucer, and they would come out, 2 or 3 bites, and then you'd order again and again and again until you couldn't. And they had some sweet ones we kind of finished up with. But of course, I'm making a pipe video, and pipes out as usual. But yeah, it was fantastic. And then we walked the strip, full belly, walking up and down the strip in the heat. And Louisa had never seen the casinos, so that was kind of cool. And we went through there one evening, the first evening, just to see the lights and things, and that was fun. But yeah, I keep telling people that, I'm 61 years old, and I've used words like majestic and awe-inspiring, and I didn't really know what those really meant. Yeah. Arches, oh my gosh, unbelievable. Zion, I mean, other than there's a lot of people, Zion was very, very busy. We had to park outside the park and walk in just a few blocks, but it's $30 to park. Everything's $30, in there, and they have gift shops and food and all that stuff. But the beauty of it is amazing. We did 2 or 3 hikes in there and had a great day. Beat the rain on the way back, barely. I mean, the storms come in so fast there that we were on our way back to our van. We literally shut the door of the van, and it just dumped And then we drove back into the park and through the park and saw a huge herd right on the side of the road of bighorn sheep, and that's pretty cool. We'd seen a few in Colorado, and then we saw this big herd, probably 12 or 15 of them. Just the rain was just starting to stop, and the sun was coming out. It was beautiful. And then we went from this, I think it was the south entrance where we came in there, back to the east entrance where we were camped just outside the east entrance, and had a great day. The North Rim of the Grand Canyon, I understand, gets 10% of the visitors, and 90% go to the South Rim. And drove right in, found a parking spot. There's a lot of people, but it's not elbow to elbow like Zion was. Had a really nice meal sitting in the I guess visitor center cafe they've got there, and went and did some hikes. Did something called Bright Angel, which was beautiful. Louisa got a little bit skittish on some of it because there's no railings or anything in most of it, and it's about the width of a sidewalk and goes up the side of this peak, I guess, this rock formation. And yeah, it was something. We got up almost to the top of it, I guess, the finish of it, and we saw some people up on some rocks, probably where they shouldn't have been, but there's no signs or anything, and they were sitting up there, and the lady behind me says, well, I don't want to do that and create a viral video when I fall off. And I said something about the beauty of youth, being able to climb up there. And so by the time we got there, they'd climbed down, and they were probably in their 70s. They were maybe from Austria, somewhere like that. Extremely fit, super cool couple, talking about hiking in Peru and Chile and all over the place. And I mean, they were living the life. But yeah, they said, you should have went up. It was beautiful. Yeah, I'm okay. I was trying to keep Louisa calm and, not fall off the mountain. But yeah, the North Rim, I made a short video. There's just no words. There's just no words for how beautiful it was. So anyway, the trip was wonderful. We're home. It's, we're unpacking the too much stuff that we took on the trip, which I knew would be the issue. We brought a few things that we never even used, and, it was our first time camping together. First time Louisa really sleep in a tent. So it worked out great. But anyway, at the beginning I mentioned Northwoods. I just wanted to make a little comment here. I actually made a phone call to Boswell's the other day. I noticed before we were getting ready to go that I was low on my Northwoods, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to go on a 2-week trip and run out of my Boswell Northwoods. So I quick got online at work about 11 o'clock and made an order, 8 ounces, like I do about every month and a half, something like that. And within an hour, I get an email, and then another email, another email. By the time I got off work, I had 6 emails. And they always do that, and it's amazing. The first one says order received, second one says credit card processed, third one says order being packaged, all the way down to will arrive Thursday. This was a Monday. Will arrive Thursday, and a tracking number. This is all in one day. Customer service is amazing, So, and then of course, instead of arriving Thursday, it arrives Wednesday. So I put a little note on their website, tell them what I thought of their customer service. And I thought, I got to call them. So I called and said, I'd like to talk to somebody about your customer service. And of course you hear, yeah, they're expecting not good. And I told them basically what I just mentioned. And I said, it's amazing that in this day and age a company can do that. Of course, they're a small family-run company, been around for a long time. And they said they really strive to process and ship your things quickly because they like to get their things quickly when they order something. And I told them how important it was to me to get this shipment before our trip, and we had a good chuckle about running out. And I mentioned that one day I'd like to make a little, I guess, pilgrimage to Boswell's and just see the operation there. But yeah, fantastic. I highly recommend anything from Boswell's. My Northwoods is my everyday smoke, and I love it. So pretty much every evening, pipe full of Northwoods, a little cup of whiskey, and a campfire, and it was okay. So anyway, probably go back and light my pipe, finish my coffee, and grab me a book. It's nice to be back on my porch You know, one of the neighbors just walked by and kind of looked up because he heard me talking to myself. He didn't realize I have a whole batch of friends in this little machine in my hand here. So anyway, longer video than I normally make. Just wanted to kind of touch base, let you know we're home safe and had a fantastic time. So, and there is a little woodpecker on our bird feeder. That's nice. Anyway, take good care. We'll see y'all.